We are live. It is 2:11 Central Standard Time, 7:11 Greenwich Mean Time, noon plus 11 minutes in the Pacific Time Zone. It is Across the Pondcast, the best podcast you never heard of. Sam and Matt at the helm, and we are joined today by an awesome guest as always. It's not the first time on the show. It's the second time on the show. It's Jeff from Jefe Reviews. Or how are you doing? How's it going?
Technically. Oh, man. Hanging out, man. How you guys doing?
Oh, not too bad. We're just watching Matt with his bedazzled PlayStation shirt. I like it, though.
I love this PlayStation shirt. I don't care what anybody says about it. One doesn't like it, but I love it.
I love how you call it a jumper. I always love that. It's so great.
It's a jump. But it is a jump. It's got long sleeves. It's fluffy. It's a jump. No, hoodie's got a zip on it.
Oh, hoodie's got a zip on it? Is that how it goes?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's a hoodie to me. I don't know what Jeff's saying. What's Jeff? He's the deciding vote. Is it a hoodie or a jumper?
Well, I don't know. I mean, to me, if it's when it's got a zipper, I usually just call it a zip-up hoodie. And
yeah,
then,
exactly.
And then the other one's just hoodies, but I'm not the expert on such things. So.
He's an expert on the audio. That's why we have him here. So we're going to talk all some things audio. We're going to just chat about everything else. And so if you notice, he is wearing the DJ Audio 1 shirt. So if you have a chance, we'll make sure in the show notes we put the link up there because I think they are still available for purchase. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah, it's like a permanent thing because that's who we. Beats for Hope is who they always ran the merchandise through. So before he was the charity cause, it was always going to local charities. So I think normally it was either going to homeless shelters, food banks, or we have something called Lava May where it's donating clothes to the homeless.
Okay.
So yeah, it's always going to a good cause one way or another, and they are a 501(c) certified nonprofit. So. It's a real deal, and now they've been helping out my brother greatly. So, and then it's kind of a win-win because a lot of people were like donating and stuff. But if you buy the merch, you help them out and you get something in return at the same time, aside from feeling good.
Good deal.
And you feel good wearing it because it's comfy. Yeah.
That's right. Remember, look good, feel good, play good. So if you get some, and it's a good cause, I have to admit, I bought one. I have a different color, and I'm telling you, it is a comfortable shirt, well made, and it's definitely worth the money, even if it wasn't going to a good cost. But it's even going to a good cost. So there's no reason to not pick one up. If you're a t-shirt guy like me, get yourself one, and it's going to a great cause. And DT was asking, how is your brother? How's he doing? How's everything going on? I know.
No, he's doing okay. I know he's right now. I'm watching him on the camera. He's outside getting some fresh air and stuff and doing his exercises. So, but yeah, he's just hanging in there, man. I mean, it's tough because, for people who are not familiar with, strokes, recovery is difficult, man. And sometimes sometimes it just doesn't happen all the way. Like sometimes you just don't recover all the way. And, he's still dealing with the numbness. It's intermittent. He's still dealing with pain, which really sucks. Like I always heard about the numbness. I didn't realize about the pain. So it's something that he's just still kind of going through, and we're just kind of taking it day by day. So, but super appreciative, man. Like and thankfully his Twitch show is still running, man. He still has all his friends that have taken up all his time slots, and so thankfully they've got him covered. So it's been good though, man. He's just doing the best he can. So.
Yeah, and like I said, I jumped around him as well. So,
and I jumped in a couple weeks ago, and there was a female DJ. It was going. I was like, "Whoa, this is pretty good!" Like I just listened to it in the background. I had it over here on I have an iPhone, my 6S, and it's in a Bose radio dock, and I just was listening to it. I wasn't participating in the stream. I just said, "Hey, how's it going?" And then just let the music play in the background. I was like, "Oh, I love this stuff. Yeah. I love DJ and house music and techno. I still love it, and I can't dance."
Cleaning music.
Yeah,
that's what background
it's just nice to have.
And I love it. And he's had more female DJs than most other Twitch channels. And when the ladies get on his channel, they go bonkers, man. It's right.
This lady was tearing it up. She wasn't like just hanging out. She was like tearing it up. I was like, whoa, okay, this one, she's bringing it. Yeah, she was bringing. I can't remember her name, but man, she was like really, really good, and she was bringing a lot of energy. It was really awesome. And like I said, I would just kind of look over my shoulder and kind of watch the video feed, but just the music and the beats were sweet. It was really good. I just listened to it, so it's pretty good.
Sure. Oh, I see we got a DT in the house. What's up, man? How you doing, brother?
Yeah, DT's in the house. We got Joe Hickey's in the house. Hey. So what up, folks? How's everybody going? Joe is now handling our. If you notice, he is handling our publication basically.
Graphics.
Graphics looks great, and he did the one for El Jefe, and he even used your having the color scheme and everything. He did a really good job. I thought it was pretty sharp looking. So
yeah, I was kind of surprised by that because I would have sent him over the transparencies for that stuff. So That's why I was kind of surprised. I was like, oh man, he should have asked me. I could have sent him the transparencies.
Yeah, so he was just. I think he just has some little bit of time and just kind of like learning the craft and playing around and getting good at. But he's really really good. He also
did
made some new logos. Yeah,
he did our logo earlier as well, didn't he? The black background with the like northern light colors coming through, and
kind of like a starburst kind of thing going on. That's pretty good. I like it.
And we've added sponsored by Extreme Skins on the bottom.
Yeah, he didn't want to bother you. He realized you're a busy man, so he just figured he can go with it. So
no worries,
that's all good. So good deal. So I noticed you just released a video today. I didn't catch it because I've been out running around. Was it about the
sound cores? They look so good.
Yeah, so these are cool. Like this is basically I got the box right here. So these are basically their latest ones, the Life A1. So this is kind of like it would be considered like entry level, I guess, because this is the lowest of their models. But if this is the lowest, like they have really raised the bar because these don't have all the bells and whistles. They give you like a lot of good stuff, but like they don't have noise cancellation. They don't have ambient sound. They don't have access to the Soundcore app. So they left out a few things, but it's okay because of the price. They're retailing right now for $59. You can get 10% off on Amazon. My guess is that within time they're gonna hit right around the $50 price mark and just sit right there. But for what they bring to the table sound quality wise, it's so good, especially if you're into bass. Like they have a bass boost mode that is just crazy. Like when I did the video, if you guys just go to the sound section of my video and you'll see the GIF that I used to describe it. But it's hilarious. But they also have a podcast mode. So they have three built-in EQs, and you can just like triple tap and it'll give you these 3 EQ settings. The podcast mode, it pulls the bass down, but it boosts the mid-range. So it gives you much more vocal clarity. So like audiobooks, podcasts, or even like instrumental music and stuff, it sounds really good. So they're actually really versatile for such a bass-heavy earbud. So I was really, really impressed.
See, if my Sony XM3 buds ever break, they would be the price range I could actually afford.
Yeah, right.
So like looking at them, I'm thinking, like for Bluetooth ones, they look really good for what I use them for. I don't need I wear them to go to work, walk, come back. You know what? I don't need the bells and whistles.
Yeah.
So exactly. they look quite good. And when I saw the video, I was like, you know what? If I could, that's what I'd get if I needed to.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tech Love Mom was in the house, so we're saying hi to her. And then also Joe mentioned that they are roughly about 47 pounds on Amazon. So yeah, that's a pretty good deal if you're looking to pick up something like that. That would
get you 10% off that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know on Amazon US they have like a little coupon code where you can click.
Yeah, they always click it at the bottom. Add 6 or 10% usually, depending on.
Yeah, sometimes you see some crazy deals on that stuff. Like that was around Black Friday when I was sharing a bunch of deals on Twitter, and there was a set of headphones that normally go for $150. And they had a $60 off coupon where you could click. I was like, wait, 60? So I clicked it, and then I took it to the cart to see what the total price was, and it ended up being like 90 something shipped. I'm like, you've got to be freaking kidding. $60 off coupon. Like, what are you guys thinking? So, but it was legit, so.
Wow.
Yeah. So sometimes you got to get lucky. You always got to pay attention.
I think when I'm going to go with my audio upgrade on Black Friday next time.
Hey, that's when I do a lot of my hardware purchases. You'd be surprised. Yeah.
How much money you can save here. Definitely.
Yeah.
It'd be worth it. And I think we're with the right person to recommend certain things as well.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I specifically, before I buy any kind of audio, anything like either over-the-ear cans or headsets or in-ear monitors or whatever, I reached out to Jeff. Matter of fact, I did for the Sonys I bought. I gave those to my daughter because she wound up ruining hers or lost them. So I gave her the Sonys, and then I went out and I bought the Jobber 75T. And I don't know what it is about the Jobbers. I love those things. I mean, I realize that they're not exactly the cheapest ones around. I'm sure there's other audio like the Soundcores and stuff like that. But I had a pair of 65Ts. I love those. I mean, these ones with the 75T, you get the ANC because Jobber kind of threw you a bone. They upgraded it when their last software upgrade. They like have ANC mode, and they just work. They're low profile and they sound great. And I love them. Like I said, I really, really like them a lot. So, and I go to Jeff. I mean, I honestly, if Jeff was like, I don't know, or if he talks about what I like about your videos, Jeff, is the fact that you talk about other sound profiles. Like if you're a bass heavy person, if you're listening to instrumental music or spoken word, you actually break that down and you do that testing for people. So that way when you're watching the video, you don't have to guess. Well, he talked about all these great features, but I listened to him for instrumental music, right? Yeah. Or I listen, you break that down for people and they give them an idea of like, hey, if you're looking for that as an option, these aren't the strongest bet for the money. If you're looking for that as the driving force on why you're buying these headphones, here's another couple of options you might want to look at that are better suited for this kind of music, whether it's techno or bass heavy.
That's the best way you could have put that, because I love bass. The music I listen to is bass, but that might not be good. So different cans, headphones, buds might not work the same. So it's good that you cover all the options.
Yeah.
But it's one of them things. It's always going to be, you can watch a review, but it's always going to be subjective, isn't it? Yeah. Because what sounds good to me might not sound good to you. What sounds good to you might not sound good to me. So
yeah. Right. Same thing I always tell people. You gotta make sure that you're okay with. It's like you kind of have to find the people who you kind of have a similar taste, and that way you can kind of rock with what they like. Like there's other people who do headphone reviews who we don't get along in a sense. Not that we don't get along personally, but our tastes in headphones and music differ. So where I will really like something, they won't like it. And then people start saying, well, he says it wasn't good, so you must be lying. I'm like, no, you don't understand. There's a little more nuance here, because I try to, the way I make it easier for people to understand is I think of music and sound profiles as flavors, the way we think of like orange or grape or strawberry. And I tell them, I'm like, one isn't bad. I mean, there can be some bad stuff, which I've heard.
There are.
Yeah, but most of the time, it's just a different flavor. Like either you like balanced, or you like more treble clarity, or you like more bass, or whatever it might be, or you like something more dynamic. So it just comes down to what you like and which flavor you prefer. So, because the question I get most often is, hey, is this one better than this one? And I'm like, better how? Like better for me, better for you? Like, how would I know that? So usually I make people like really give me a really precise answer. Like, hey, what kind of music are you listening to? Are you listening to podcasts? Like, what is it that you look for in music? Do you want big bouncy bass? Like, what do you want from it? That way we can make a better recommendation, because what's good for me isn't necessarily going to be good for everyone.
Right. Exactly. So, I mean, and like I said, also you have the thing of physical fit, right? Because all these earbuds fit physically different. If you got smaller ears, bigger ears, like those Sonys, I always ran into a problem when because like a jobbers, I got so used to like putting them in and laying on my side when I sleep, listen to podcasts. Well, you can't with the Sonys because they stick out so far. When I was rolling over, it was like piercing that cartilage part of my ear. And I was like, I couldn't do it anymore. It was just because their profile stuck out physically. And there's nothing you can do about that. Sometimes you just can't get every answer to every question. And it's just,
my Sony buds stick out quite far. They're just, there's wings.
Yeah.
Right. So Adit's asking, Jeff, any recommendations for a dedicated DAC and amp, individual, not combined, for a setup for his laptop home setup? He'd like to keep it around 230. So any ideas or anything that kind of comes to mind can answer this question for Aditya?
I have to double check the pricing on it, but a really good combination is it's gonna sound bad, but that's just what they're called. It's from Shit Audio, and that's SCHITT. But they call it a shit stack, and that's what it's known as.
Nice.
I think the pricing comes right around there. I'll have to double check the pricing, because I was looking at that myself. I don't personally own it, because not that I don't want it, not that it isn't really good. It's that if I come home with another amp and DAC combo, somebody's gonna wring my neck. CFO's gonna have me for lunch. So, but it is really good. I would probably check out the pricing on that and see kind of where it's at. But yeah. So see, Aditya knows what I'm talking about.
Right.
Awesome. It's good stuff.
Yeah. And then Joe's asking a question. I see you're diversifying some reviews on other tech, or is that something that you're just trying out, or is this something that you're trying to leverage? I mean, I noticed too that there's some variation and some variety now and diversification. Is that something you're trying out, or is that something that's going to we're expecting more from your channel going forward?
No, yeah, I'm going to try to throw in different stuff, like, at least something different every like 4 or 5 videos. So like if I do 4 videos on headphones and earbuds, I'm going to try to throw something else in the mix. Normally, for people that know how YouTube is cold, it's a cold game, and it wants you to do what it likes from you. And because basically what happens is that YouTube is very viewer based. It's not about us, it's about the viewers. And once it figures out who your viewer like avatar, who that cohort is, then when you put out a video, it's going to serve your videos, regardless of what it is, to that cohort. And if I'm put out, let's say I'm always doing headphone videos, so it knows, hey, headphone lovers love this guy's content. But then I drop a video on a TV. It's going to put that TV video in front of them, and they're not going to click because they're not into that. So then those videos tank. So that's sort of what ends up happening. So whenever I do a video like that, it doesn't do well. I don't hold it, like I don't take it personally. Like when I did the DAC amp one on the iFi hip DAC.
Yeah, I saw that. That was a good video, by the way.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this is really good. I've actually considered getting one.
Yeah, it's a very different feel for that video because I went into it with that knowledge of this video is not going to do well. So I'm just going to do it for me and share something that I'm really into, even if it doesn't get any views. And the cool thing was, the right people saw that video and they saw the vibe of the video, and then now those right people want to work with me on future projects. Wow. So that's really what it came down to. Like, oh yeah, we really liked your enthusiasm about it. You came across like very, very normal, because apparently all the other reviews for that product are very clinical. Right. And with the exception of one other, but most of them are very clinical, very scientific, very measurement, very, very just sterile in a sense, where I came across very just a normal guy. Right. And I think they really appreciated that.
Well, and it's funny too, because they always talk about people saying that, it's hard to, there's a balance, right? Putting out videos that gets no likes or gets no views. And then all of a sudden now you're in this spot where now, okay, was there a cost benefit, right? Am I getting any reward for putting this out there? But you'd be surprised. You may not get YouTube traction or viewer traction, but all of a sudden now another OEM or another manufacturer or another 8 people go, man, this guy's video is pretty good. And then all of a sudden you'd be surprised I don't think anything is ever done with complete waste, right? There's always some kind of value, even if it is intrinsic. It was like, I did it for me. I just did it because it made me feel good, and I don't care if it gets 0 views. It doesn't matter. But this one was actually good. You actually got it, something that you did for yourself that was something you wanted to do that you're interested in. But now you got some traction on it, and that's something you can leverage and maybe get into some other content and some collaboration work, or even getting some sponsor work, which is awesome.
Yeah, it did better than I thought it would. It was a little bit slow to get there, and it slowed down for sure, but it did better than I thought it would. So that's a good thing. I'm happy with it. Like, I did not even expect it to break 1,000 views, like, ever. But the fact that I was able to do around 3,000 in a week, which I'm like, okay, cool. Like I'm totally fine with that. Like I said, I would have been happy either way. So the fact that it actually got something, I'm like, all right, well, at least, I think the hardcore, I think the hardcore audience responded to it, which is good. Like with, you can have 1 million subscribers, but there's only going to be a small subset who will show up for everything. And that video was really like for them for the most part. So yeah.
How are we going to be looking at the TCL again this year?
I hope so.
Phones?
We'll see. Because I know I got the I did the 10 Pro.
Yeah.
And I know they were supposed to have the 20 coming out. I don't know if I'm still on that list to get that or not. If I am, cool.
I hope so.
If I'm not, no hard feelings.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. So we'll see. But that would be kind of cool. So yeah.
I hope so. We'll
and I'm looking forward to their audio stuff. They've done some okay earbuds so far. Okay, I'm being nice. But they're supposed to have some like noise canceling stuff, some pretty like more higher end, like pushing more features and stuff. So hopefully we'll see.
The way TCL have been pushing higher end stuff recently, it's something to look forward to, definitely. Yeah. Because they have been pushing the boundary of what's possible for this price and this price.
Yeah.
Well, it should be good. But then again, it is TCL, so sometimes we could go, well, that could have been better.
Yeah. Hey, Josh is in the chat. What's up, man? How you doing, brother?
Yeah, and
it's the other Josh. Hello.
I was tempted when I saw Josh show up. I was tempted to call him Jimmy, just because I had this thing where I don't call anybody by their right name anymore. Apparently, I made that mistake with
that
Gigi.
was once.
Right. That was the most embarrassing shit ever. You kept calling Kimmy
Rachel all the way through the show.
It was terrible.
But I've never let you live that down, because every time I tag her something on Twitter, I say, hello, Rachel.
Well, the funny thing, I was on, she did, I think Friday night or something, that she had a stream where it was like, holler at your boy and everybody, and that thing got crazy, right? And I was in that one, and it was like, and I had to put it in there, and she's like, oh, hey, it's Reginald. I'm like, oh, here we go, right? And it's like, no, I just got to go with it, right? You just got to wear,
you got to
wear it. You got to rock it, man. And it's it's funny because it got to the end of that show, and I mean, I usually don't catch myself in embarrassing moments like that, or I'm really metered about how, especially when I don't know somebody that well.
I made the most of that.
I couldn't have possibly jumped on a grenade harder. I like landmine. I'd like stepped in front of a claymore. It was bad. It was bad
Yeah,
news.
and I came along and just put another one under you.
Yeah, there she is right there, Gigi, my girl. Yeah. So
No, they're like family, man. The show, the what is it? The Ignite Hours and
Much love.
Everybody on the whole crew and everybody, man. Bionic
Barry
Scoop
and all them.
Barry
Barry. Yeah. It's just I sat back and listened to it. It's like the most fun. I even said it. I even made a comment there. It's the most enjoyable. I just sit back and listen and laugh, and they just go. They go crazy. It's awesome.
I know.
Like just for pure entertainment and enjoyable. And then once they get started, they start going even to where I was like, okay, I'm just going to sit down because I know if I get in the middle of this, I'm going to get burnt. So I'm just going to sit here and just listen. I'm going to keep my mouth shut because I'm already behind the times. But yeah, it was good. But yeah, King Tech Mike. I think King Tech Mike was in there. I thought a couple people were in it. It was awesome. I had like 7 going on, and it was awesome. It was fantastic. It's a good time just to listen to, and I'm glad she's in the house. So I appreciate her video. And Tech for Your Knees is also. I see him as well.
Hey, that's not what's up, brother.
So we're all good. So anyway, speaking of that, I guess there was a question earlier. I think Joe asked, "Are you still rocking the dual wield? Right? Are you still dual wielding an Android and an iPhone?"
Yeah, always, man. I always have the best, or try to have the best of both worlds. I'm not going to deny myself at this point where I can afford to do it. I'm not going to deny myself that at all. So right now it's the S21 Plus and the iPhone 12 Pro. But yeah, and it's a trip, man, because I'm getting accustomed to it. It's like I'll pick up. That's the thing. I was used to using the Pixel with nothing wrong. I have a Pixel 5, and it's nothing wrong with it. I enjoy it. But when I got the S21 Plus, it's like you kind of remember like, oh yeah, this is what a massive screen with a really, really nice display looks like. You're like, oh man, all right. And then the really high refresh rate and all that stuff. So it's like, it's noticeable. It's noticeable. So I like having it. I like playing with it. I really like playing games and watching video with it. But it's fun to have, man, but I like doing both.
I don't. I predominantly go Android for 2 phones. I don't know why. It's preference, it really.
Oh man, who let Roger in here?
I know. I just saw him sneaking. He just kind of snuck in around. I was like, "Hey, I'm here."
Speaking of size differences, this is the Pixel 4a 5G. My next phone, ROG 5 Ultimate.
Nice.
In May, when it comes out in May, so I've got to wait. But that's the phone I'm getting next.
Yeah, I
can't wait. Yeah, man, it's even got paddles on the back. It's got touch paddles on the back and everything. Oh, that thing's going to be my baby.
Just be careful. Apparently, don't sit on it or don't give it a lot of torque.
Because, well, yeah, but Zach's
who does that?
Unusually strong for one, and it's still a lot of pressure. Even though it does seem to snap easy, it's still a lot of pressure. And I have a case anyway, so I'm not going around going, "Does it actually bend like that?" And then no, I tend to drop phones.
Yeah,
Jared,
I mean, yeah, that's
big.
He's a good sized dude. Yeah,
I was really surprised.
That's what I'm saying.
And the funny thing,
I'm not worried, even though the other ROG phones have all passed. But I had the Nexus 6P, never had a problem with that, and he snapped that thing like paper.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried, not even a little bit.
I don't put my phone in my back pocket anyway, so I'm good.
No, it's always in the front. Always got a case on it.
Yeah,
mostly.
I just thought it was interesting to see kind of how they did the battery. It's kind of neat. The one thing I enjoyed more about was just watching how they move the components around and how they had it all
the same way
section.
OnePlus do it as well, isn't it? But
I don't know.
Think they do it that way, not that way.
I'm not sure how they. I don't know if that's
because I know iPhone do the L, and
I don't know if many phone manufacturers do it in that. Well, obviously with the Duo, it's 2 different. Basically, it's obviously 2 different, right? But I don't think most candy bar phones. I don't think anybody else does it in that configuration. Maybe they do. I don't know. I'll tell you one thing. Here's the thing, and maybe I'm a bad human. I don't watch a lot of his videos just because he's breaking phones that I'm never going to probably own. And then also, seriously, I'm not going to have a red magic or that kind of stuff.
I enjoy the teardowns.
I do too. That's what I more enjoyed.
I like his teardown videos. But and his other stuff as well, like when he built the motorized wheelchairs and things like that. All that kind of DIY. Like life's a DIY project. That's the channel. Right, so all his other videos are good. And sometimes I'll watch the durability test. If it's the phone that I'm looking at, it's a video, I'm on the loo, I'll watch it. It's only like 9 minutes.
No, for sure. That's usually what I'll do too with his content. Is I don't watch a lot of the teardown stuff. I watch a lot of his other stuff, like putting the elevator in for his wife.
Yeah, that was
stuff
good.
Of that nature, like a lot of the stuff he's done around the house and like those sort of things. Those I'm really
and all that stuff.
Yeah,
solar
so really
panels. Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff I'm really big on. Like, I'll definitely watch that stuff. The teardowns, I'm like, no disrespect to his content and stuff. And he's an awesome dude. When I met him, it was when he was first dating his wife. So it was when he was first in the very early stages of planning the electric bicycle thing that he ended up building.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was in the very early planning phases and stuff. But yeah, like super cool guy. Like he was super, super chill.
They even built the school in.
Yeah.
Like that was insane. Yeah. And I like his other channel as well because he does a lot of mechanical stuff on his trucks and that. So I do like that.
Yeah.
So we got Milano's in the chat. How you doing, sir? He's on the, and then we also had, I think I saw Michael Corcoran's in the chat. Welcome, sir. How are you? And Barrett.
Hey,
BJ, what's up, man?
His ears were burning. He's like, somebody's talking about me.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Actually, I'll tell you right now, I don't know much about like coding languages. Like I know he does Python videos and stuff, but I don't know much about it. But I actually kind of just want to watch just because I don't know much about it, and it just like looks fascinating to me. So, which spins in, and also. He's always driving. Why is it always that? I guess he's every time he does this show, no matter what time we start, if we have Isan, we start early at 2 or 3, it doesn't matter. Whenever we're doing any kind of stream, he's always driving somewhere in central Missouri, which is not exactly the most enjoyable drive. Trust me, I live in Missouri. It's not fun.
He's circling your house is what he's doing right now.
That's fine.
He's like, he looks on Twitter for the time we're starting the shows and he just drives around your house.
That's right.
Exactly. So welcome Andrew's in the chat also. So like I said, it's and there's a question here. So what other than obviously we just talked about Zach and his videos and kind of what else is like if Jeff's just like hanging out and he has a little bit of bandwidth, like 5 minutes, right, 10 minutes of his busy life, who else are you watching that maybe we would think that you was like, oh, I didn't think Jeff would really watch videos about that. Like, do you have any that you subscribe to that aren't exactly ones that we could probably guess right off the top of our heads?
That I'm subscribed to would be, there's a channel called Nuke's Top 5. And Nuke is in like, nuclear detonation. But that's not what he's about. So Nuke's Top 5 is all top 5 ghost videos. That's what he does once a week. And I mean, millions of views. But he really sifts through a lot of them. He doesn't have an annoying voice. Most of the top 5 or top 10 ghost videos have a really horrible narrator. No disrespect to those guys. They know who I'm talking about. If people have watched them, they're really terrible narration. This dude is just his own voice. He sounds like he might be from like Georgia or something. Okay. Kind of a slight twang to his the way he speaks. But just that type of stuff. That's usually what I'll end up. He does a video once a week. Like he just dropped one earlier. Haven't watched it yet. But usually that's what I'll pick up on. Aside from that, a lot of music reaction videos. I like watching people discover new artists because I know what that feels like for me. Right. So that's something that I do enjoy, especially when they're like some of my personal favorite artists. It's cool. So, but yeah, that's usually what it'll be. Stuff like that. I mean, I watch everything literally, but those are the two that come to my head. So, yeah.
What about everything but two?
Speaking of that, Matt, like, so what's on your like? What are the videos that you like? Maybe I'll subscribe to or watch pretty regularly that we would be like, whoa, that's me. I wouldn't have anticipated that you watch on YouTube when you watch YouTube, if you do.
I do.
That you're willing to share.
I do quite a lot, but I don't think anything would surprise you. It's the tech videos. It's Jeff. It's the guys in the chat. It's Warren. It's TK, and it's Swag and Zelena for Warzone. And it's just what you'd expect. There's nothing in my YouTube that you wouldn't expect for me to be watching as a guy. You know me, you see my YouTube feed, and you're like, no, that's pretty much Matt.
Yeah. I had to say that I tell you the two I really like is Sam, the cooking guy. If you ever watch,
I don't watch cooking shows. I don't know.
No, he's awesome. Well, first of all, I love his content, and also his name is Sam. But it's like if I were going to do a cooking show, this is like how I would do it. Like he is really, his content kind of reminds me of like me, and it doesn't. Ironically, his name is Sam too. But he does a lot of stuff like it's not complicated. It's really pretty straightforward. If you watch how he does it, you're like, oh, I could probably do it. And he sets it up so that way you can get the ingredients, and he's very methodical about showing you how to do the prep and how to do the seasoning and how to make the sauce, and it's pretty good. And then also. I just love Uncle Roger. Do you watch the Uncle Roger videos where they have other people reviewing his fried rice? It's awesome. It's like Uncle Roger, and he's got a little get a rice cooker. It's just I love his content. I could watch his
Uncle Roger.
Dude, it's so funny. It's so good.
Roger's in the chat as well, and he's like, that guy just butchered my name.
Yeah, no, it's awesome.
Roger.
I think his name is Nigel Ing, I think is his name, he's actually a comedian, but his videos are funny because he did like Jamie Oliver making fried rice and he just tears this guy apart. It's awesome. I like a lot of the cooking stuff. I just think those are kind of fast. I like watching.
No, that stuff is that some of that content can be really good. It just like you'd be surprised at the stuff that'll pop up in my home feed as recommended.
Right.
But it's just based on like if it entertains me, right? So that's really what it comes down to. Like I used to watch nothing but tech content, and now I'll still watch tech content, but nowhere near at the level that I used to. Like right now, I'll make it a point at least once a day to set a little block of time aside to watch a lot of the friends' videos, like the ones to show support, to leave comments, to do that sort of stuff. So, but it's nowhere near like it used to be where I was really addicted to watching every single one and like all the latest drops from all the big tech YouTubers and like all that stuff. Now I'm just more focused on stuff that entertains me because, first of all, I want to be entertained. Secondly, I'm also gleaning some strategies from different genres and different niches to sort of see like what's working for them. Like, what's looking at what's keeping me watching. And to see how can I do that myself? How can I recreate that in a viewer, to get them to want to stay with me? So it's like part study, part entertainment at the same time.
Yeah.
I get that because we're the opposite though. We don't know how or why these people want to stop and watch us too.
I still haven't figured it out. It's crazy.
But
I guess
it is fun and weird things, isn't it? It's kind of just one of those things.
Look,
but I get what you're saying.
She loves Uncle Roger too.
I do get what you're saying. Like I used to watch these videos, the latest drops, these videos, this videos. Now, I will tend to watch some older videos, some more out there videos for different types of tech that I'm personally looking at and stuff like that. It's quite good. And the kids have sort of been pushing to watch like Mr. Beast and like stuff like that. Like Mr. Beast, okay, some of the videos are really good, but I wouldn't watch them personally, like on my phone while I'm having a walk or something like that.
I don't watch all of his stuff. It's
some of it's quite good.
I'll watch, yeah.
And some dude called FG Teeve. I don't even know who that is, but he's got 7.5 million subscribers. So I suppose he's not just some guy they came across one day. It's like a family show. It's quite good.
Yeah. Andrew's asking about preferred music apps. I had Tidal for a while. I've switched to YouTube Music just because I bought a YouTube Premium subscription. It works okay. I mean, it's fine. I don't have a problem with it. I like it.
Yeah. No, I've been using for the longest time I've used Tidal. I've been for the past month I've been dabbling with Amazon Music HD.
Okay.
So really high quality stuff there. I've been using it desktop wise. So I've been using it in combination with my desktop amp and everything. Really good. So I'm gonna I just downloaded the app. I just need to get signed in and everything, and then download my playlist. And then I'm gonna try it out with the Bluetooth stuff to see how it plays there.
Right.
But yeah, I'm just trying it out, seeing kind of what's there, and see if the app is any good. We'll see how it goes. So
I've literally just come away from Amazon. I still listen to the Amazon what comes with Prime, just Amazon Music. Go in, listen to bits and bobs. But Amazon are quite sly with the pricing because you have the HD, then there's the Amazon Music Ultimate, which unlocks HD, but then it lets you listen to more music because the basic one, there's quite a lot of songs that you can't even get. I was quite disappointed with it.
Yeah.
And Roger listens to Jeff. Watches Jeff. Of course he does. And Travis. Man. But apparently his band was getting a little squeezed because Roger has to actually create his own content, which is pretty good, by the way. In case you're not paying attention, you should check it out because Live Tech UK is awesome. Roger does a great job, even though he is really pretty self-deprecating. He should be Life of Tech.
Sometimes UK forgets where things are.
Right. Doesn't know where Buckingham Palace
London,
is.
Next to Buckingham Palace. He knows where Buckingham Palace is. He just didn't know that he was stood next to it.
Yeah.
Right. And then also, if you're going to visit him, he may not take you to fish and chips. That's about it. But other than that, he thinks his content's not very good. I think it's fantastic.
His content's brilliant. I don't know.
It's just really good.
It's one of them things you get when you're doing things like this, you watch it back and you think, ooh. But other people praise it because it's good. You're always looking for the bits that didn't work. So it's sometimes you just think your own stuff doesn't work, but it does.
Do I really have to listen to Logan Paul?
Yeah, Roger's great, man. Roger's great.
Oh,
he knows what he's got to do, and I know, not to go into too much detail, but just like myself, life can tend to get in the way of a creator, and that's really like I know. I could only imagine where Roger would be if he would have had the bandwidth to be able to make the content that he wants to make at a consistent level. And I think about that myself because of everything that's happened over the past couple of months. Actually more past 5 months ish or so, that have slowed my content creation down. And, I just think about it like, I shouldn't be at 50K. I should be somewhere closer to 70. If I was able to if I had the bandwidth to do exactly like what my head says, like, all right, this week we're going to knock out 4 videos, be lucky to get 1. So it's one of those things where I know where I want to be. I know what I want to do, but it's just the bandwidth isn't there. But that's really what happens. I mean, you got family, you have children, you have all kinds of other stuff going on. That's what I try to sometimes explain to people, like, oh yeah, you should be doing big things. Like, look at these guys. I'm like, first of all, that dude is 21 years old, doesn't have any responsibilities, and can make content around the clock. Like, I can't. It's like,
you can be up at 2 o'clock in the morning because there's no impact to a family or a business or a full-time job. Some of these people.
This is what I mean. I was just about to say that a full-time job. That's like Jeff and the guys all work full-time jobs. TK, Roger working full-time. It's hard to create content around this, as well as find time for family in between creating content, working a full-time job, and then this thing called sleep and eating. That's what I mean. Yeah, that's why creative burnout's a thing. Burnout's a genuine thing.
Here's the thing: you can't be 100% on. You can't be just grinding constantly. Your body you have to have rest, and sometimes you have to you have to disconnect from all this. Right? It's just overwhelming, And there also is content situations like us. I like what I do in my organization. I like my full-time job, like a lot. Same. I really enjoy who I work with. So I don't want to leverage this into anything. And like, if somebody said, hey, you can have millions of followers and do all that stuff. Would you like to do it? I'm like, I don't think I would. One, I don't want the visibility. And the second thing is, I don't do it for that. I'm not trying to leverage it. So that's why the show is not going to probably have millions of subscribers, which is fine. I don't do it for that.
Have you met us? I'm surprised we ain't got it already. No,
I'm surprised we have 100. I'm surprised anybody actually downloads.
We're close to 100, but we broke 130 views now. By the way, I didn't tell you that bit. We've broke 130 views on one video, and we broke 100 views on 4 videos.
Nice. There you go.
Hey, man, I mean, that's a start. Because, I mean, how long have you guys been doing the podcast for? It's been, what, 6 months?
Yeah, at least. And I think we have 30-ish episodes or so. So, yeah, we're like, it's been a while. I think we started actually, we might be close. Didn't we start this in like last year in like March-ish time frame? So we might be at a year.
Almost. I know it was COVID was already going on. I know we were already kind of in lockdown-ish. So
that was March. Yeah. End of March, beginning of April sort of time.
Yeah. We're almost at 12 months, but yeah, like I said, again, I just like doing it and I enjoy it's more fun. Just
we do one episode a week. We're not pushing, we're not banging, promoting all the time and stuff like that because we're not growing. We're taking the slow road.
Yeah. Right. And so that's the other thing too. You got to know who you're talking to. But, Jeff.
I'm surprised we got as many people as we have listening to our bullshit. To be honest,
it's community bullshit, man.
Yeah, but the best bit is we got this bullshit going from out of nowhere. Like literally from one's Discord to meeting Sam to jumping on his Sunday and stuff and things, turning it into Across the Pondcast, and then you guys just jumping on the show straight away, just every week.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely. It was one of them. What is going on? This is crazy. All these guys that we've loved and watched for ages are just coming on our show, and they love it.
Right. And here's the thing that drives me not drives me crazy, but it's like is amazing to me is like that people are actually taking time to come on and like hang out with us. I mean, we've had people come on and we're like, you realize we're like a whole we're like not anything as far as like content, right?
When we had Saf and John on.
Like
he was like, wait, you got who at the same time? I was like,
it was just like
Saf lives like half an hour away from Derby, so
that's why we do it. Like I said, but that to Jeff's point, it's like you don't really know what everybody's motivation is. You can't assume that every tech creator or content creator or somebody who's doing it is trying to leverage the same kind of Also, they're in different life spaces, right? Some people are older, like me. I'm 45. My girls are grown, but some of these people, I don't care. I'm old. I get gray in my beard.
45. You wish, man. Yeah, double that and then double it again. You're all right.
But like I said, it's interesting. But also, life happens, right?
Sam's old in the chat. Go for it.
Yeah, it cuts into it. So it's nice to see. But I'm just glad you hit 50K. And you're right. You probably could hit 70 if you really were like, able to dedicate the bandwidth to it. But you can't. It's just the way life is, right? And you will at some point maybe be able to. But
no, I mean, the momentum's there. It's just like I said, I wasn't. It was just one of those things where I don't hold it against myself. Like I saw it. I saw the slowdowns. I know where I should have been based on the predictive models, and I'm like, all right, well, but here's the thing though. Either I'm going to sweat it, get mad, and get upset with myself, and then make things worse, or understand that I'm living my life, I'm living at the best of my ability, and I'm working within the boundaries of that, and making sure that I'm trying to also take care of myself, and that's why the slowdowns happened, to where I have to make sure that there's some semblance of balance. People have alarms to wake up. I have alarms to go to sleep, because otherwise, if I don't, I'll pull all-nighters without thinking about it. And, that's like what could have happened last night. So I made sure early in the evening when we were doing the show on Clubhouse with Renee Ritchie and Viper, the whole time that I'm in there, I'm editing. I was editing the video and making sure I was getting it all done. And that way, I didn't make it to my alarm. I actually set an alarm at 2 a.m. And at 2 a.m., that's basically, I'll set an alarm. So if I happen to be awake until that point, that's a hard alarm where I'm like, whatever you're doing, drop it, go lay down. And that way, when I can wake up at 6 or 7 in the morning, so maybe 4 or 5 hours later, and then get back to it if I need to. But yeah, I have to set that alarm, because otherwise, I'll work straight through. I have that kind of a mindset where once I get started, I want to finish it,
right,
and then I'll just push through. And it sucks because sometimes my body will just give out on me. Like I'll wake up at my desk. That used to happen very often before we moved here. At my old place, and during COVID, I would find myself waking up at my desk. I'm like, what the hell am I doing here?
Yeah, you just nod off. You're just like, all of a sudden, just
basically
turn off.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing to do, is waking up at your desk, because that's not good for your posture. That's not good for your bones. It's not good for your mental health. After that, you're always groggy and on edge, and everything annoys you, no matter what it is. Everything annoys you.
Yeah, no,
when you speak like that.
Well, like I said, and then speaking of Clubhouse, I was going to ask you too. I've been kind of paying attention to some Clubhouse rooms and kind of checking that out, and I kind of listen to the periphery.
It's the one thing I'll probably get an iPhone for.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Well, here's the thing: I got some invites, so if you get an iPhone, let me know. I'll send you one. But I mean, I was in last night's. I was listening to
where am I gonna? I'll just pull an iPhone out my arm. So there you go.
You can get a 6S for like nothing. That's what I have. This 6S, I have to leave it docked because the battery's so trash.
I can get a 6S for £150, but I can also get a lot of other things for £150.
Hey, iPads
carpets
work too,
and floor and TVs and stuff. I can get better stuff.
I guess if you're willing to play the long game, they're talking about developing an Android version of that app. I know that's in active development, so you just got to hang out. But it's pretty good because
but it's one of them. Will it work with the actual? Like if you're in Clubhouse, and I want to join that, will this app let me join that? It's going to be one of the things where you're going to either need an older iPad, probably something about £80, I suppose, and then use that.
Yeah, I mean, but I watched.
Camera will be crap, but.
And I was in that stream. I listened with Renee Ritchie. Like I listened to it when and Jeff was in there. It was Viper and all them. And like I said, I guess my question is, I know you're always kind of watching content to kind of leverage again ideas and start taking notes and kind of thinking. Have you found Clubhouse to be a pretty good resource for that? Has that been pretty good so far? Are things that you like about it, things you dislike? I mean, I know you're in there quite a bit because every time I've jumped on, sometimes I'm just listening. I see that you're usually either listening or in a room and listening, that kind of thing. Do you find some real decent value in Clubhouse at this point? I mean, what's your feeling about the app overall in general, Joe?
Yeah, mostly it's just really about finding the right people. Like if you follow the right people there, that kind of curates your experience with the app. So if you follow like crappy people, you're going to end up in crappy rooms. But right, this guy,
don't follow us.
No, but so following the right people really helps because I've actually pulled a lot of value, a lot of knowledge. There's stuff that I hadn't thought about, but that's why I usually find myself mostly listening versus speaking. Is because I'm usually trying to see what I can gain and filter through what people are saying. But there's been, from the few months that I've been on there, I think it was like late December, early January when I joined. I think it was January. But just in that time, there was insights into content creation, insights into the business mindset of a creator, and even just the way that the way that I make content. There's been insights that I wouldn't have thought about beforehand, like having access to certain people to even talk to them. or to listen to them talk would normally cost money. Like, just to even sit in a room with them, you would have had to pay, a certain amount of money. And I think at some point it's going to get there.
Right.
But just the fact that right now that I can pull in, listen, and they are dropping a lot of knowledge is really helpful. So usually when I speak, I try to be that person for people. So I'll try to get in there and join in like the groups for creators that are just starting out. I want to help them out as much as I can. But yeah, no, I've actually gleaned a lot. So for me, it's actually been an overwhelmingly positive experience. I know for some people they're like, I can't sit there and listen to that stuff. And for me, here's the thing. It's not like I'm just sitting there and I'm just sitting here doing nothing. Whenever I'm in there listening, normally I'm doing something else. I'm either editing or working on something else or getting ready to, because basically like when I talk to my customers, I usually study up on what's going on with them, like what their content's about. So I'll be doing that as well. So I'm normally multitasking. So it's not like I'm just passively sitting there like listening away. No, it's
active listening. Well, there's always a difference between and then here's the thing. You actually did something which is actually listening and studying about your customers and content and doing some background, as opposed to me not taking the time to look at Gigi's information and kind of just digging a little deep and find out her name is actually Kimmy, not Rachel. And just taking and then on top of winging it, guessing wrong for the entire show. Yeah, I do that, which is totally idiotic. So yeah, but yeah, I
have a
noticed
friend
that
like
too.
me that just throws you under the bus even further.
Well, I think that's the only reason you're here is just to basically point out my foibles and then slam me about it. Yeah. Which is fine. That's fair. That's okay. You need a
yeah. Well, most of the time. Sometimes no. Sometimes I like you. You're all right.
Right. Well, I don't know when that started. Let me know. So, but yeah, I agree, Jeff. I noticed that too. Like I'll be at work and I'll be listening over my shoulder. I'll just kind of jump in and see like what rooms are available. And a lot of times, some of them are just like, whoa, I don't know if I'd even want to listen to this, much less get into this room. But then I see those other ones like Coffee Talk. I've been in those with Vipers, and stuff. And I have commented a little bit and shared a little bit. But yeah, it's definitely more active listening and paying attention. The difference with me is since I'm not really looking to do any kind of leveraging with the podcast and I still good to listen to podcasting tips and what people are doing. I like listening to people who are trying to get ahead. Like I'm at this level, I want to get to this level and listen to people kind of giving advice and giving feedback and giving some tips and that kind of thing. I'll tell you one person I stumbled upon was Liron. That guy's awesome.
Oh, dude, yeah. So Liron,
he's incredible. I was like, I really like him.
Yeah, he's one. So here's the thing: like a lot of people don't like. I'm like he is such a freaking genius that people really sleep on his wealth of knowledge, and even which is kind of sad because he's no longer working directly with my company in that sense. But I should have taken more advantage. But every time we would get in a room together, he would just teach so much. Like he would drop all this knowledge, and I'm like, and one thing people aren't aware of is that he advises many successful channels on top of his own. Like if you look at his channel, it's like holy crap. Yeah. So, and that was no time. Like in the space that it took me to gain 20,000 subs, he's gained 300,000. So yeah, it's pretty wild, man. And he really knows his stuff. And he puts it into practice. That's the thing. It's not just talking about it, but also showing results from doing what he says. So, but yeah, no, that dude is amazing, man. I'm glad he's on there too, and he's doing his podcast and stuff. And actually, his podcast when he was doing the podcast for VidIQ was one of the first podcasts that I was ever on. It was actually an episode with me and Travis together with Liron, and I still share that out with people sometimes because it's a really good episode. Like you really glean a lot, and I think I was at I think it was around 10,000 subs when I was on there or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it was a lot of fun, man.
Yeah.
To be fair, Travis is one person I've got to get here.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
we're trying.
Beat down. I think the only problem might be is I think on Sundays he's super.
We're flexible.
Busy.
It's not like people are putting aside 9 p.m. GMT just for us. We're flexible. We move to a Monday. We move to for Easter. We will always move earlier. There is no doubt. There is no question. We will move earlier, and we've moved to a Monday once. I think that was Saf and John. We moved to the Monday.
Right. And here's the thing too, is and I agree with, Rolando here. I mean, yeah, it's the second thing. You have to weed through the chaff, right? There's going to be people. And here's the thing. If you're
I've never been in Clubhouse, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, you're going to get into
I've seen the screenshots people on Twitter have put on Twitter, and I'm like, that looks mad. I'd love to be like,
well, and when you get in these rooms, you can tell usually within a few moments. It doesn't take long.
Does anybody in the chat have an old iPhone they don't want?
Send it to the UK. It costs them $60,000 to send it to the UK, if not in Europe already.
No, it doesn't. We're a lot cheaper now. A lot cheaper.
Okay.
12 pence cheaper than we were last year.
I agree. It's just like anything else. It's anything that's open and collaborative like that. You're going to have a lot of people in there who are just not. And it doesn't take long. You'll have to do with George Carlin. You'll listen. He goes, "Yeah, this guy's stupid, either full of shit or fucking nuts." Right? That's what he always talks about. Stupid, full of shit, or fucking nuts. Right? So you'll listen to that content. And you'll know in a room pretty quickly if it's off the rails. And I've kind of in rooms just out of mild curiosity, just jumped in, and it was a full on like argument. Like there were people like a dozen people just talking. I was like, and then it's sort of like a car crash, right? Everybody's like looking to see what's going on. You almost want to stay in there just to see how, like, where is this nightmare going to go? But yeah, it's clearly, obviously, that people are not being vetted and anybody can get on there. Yeah. I mean, hell, listen to us. We're not professional podcasters and we do this. So you may get into a room or two and listen to people giving.
Hey, we're nearly a year old. That's enough to say we're semi-pro.
Right. And here's the only thing, though. The only thing I worry about is, I understand if it's your opinion, like based on stuff or whatever, but there's a lot of people in there like talking about NFTs and other rooms that are like giving like people would give actual advice on how to like either do financial investment or anything like that. And then there's a lot of things you're like, I'm afraid that somebody's going to listen to something like in a podcast or in a clubhouse room and like take that as gospel. Like somebody says, I'm a financial advisor, you shouldn't do this, and wind up, you know what I mean? It's good if you're just having altruistic conversations, but there's some people that are trying to give out actual advice, like how to buy a car, how to buy a house, how to do all this. And people may step on a real big situation that might cause them some serious damage or legal trouble. I mean, it's bad.
People have to do their vetting, and that's the real key to it, because I can write any freaking thing in my bio. So I made sure that the stuff I put in there is accurate. It's relevant to what I am. But you have to watch out and listen to people, and the other thing that I know, I think I was having a conversation with Viper about this, is that there were some rooms that I would frequent where it was like, it was some of the Latino growth rooms for not growth in a sense of like getting followers and stuff, but where they're talking like financial literacy and how to help Latino youth realize like how to get them jobs in tech and how we can reach out to the youth to give, teach them lessons about stuff. And, but when people don't know what they're talking about, to call them out, and not in a sense like you're trying to make them feel bad, but to be like, yo, that's not how this works. Like you're giving bad advice, and don't do that. Like, give me 2 seconds to kind of show you what I'm talking about. And I've seen arguments go down over that stuff. Like there was one instance where a guy was saying to, telling people to put that they're bilingual in their resume. And, it was like, well, if you're not bilingual, you shouldn't do that. And, because basically it's like, you're saying that so that you can get filtered. This is what he was saying. He's like, some people will filter resumes by whether or not you're bilingual. So you should put bilingual so you don't get filtered out. And then somebody stepped in and was like, whoa. Unless if you're not bilingual, don't do that. Like, because if you get hired based on that skill set and you don't have it, that's a problem. That's a major problem.
You also materially lied on basically an application, because a lot of times you're not actually filling out a traditional application like we used to do back in the day, right? Your resume is your application. And here's the thing. You get the job and all of a sudden you get 3 months in, all of a sudden they find out you made a lie. They'll go back and fire you. I mean, so now it's like, just always play it straight. Yeah. If you're not bilingual, don't put that.
And they'll test you. Like some people will test you. So I know that's what happened in a previous job, where it was an ambush. I didn't like it, and we had to have words on the spot because I didn't like the way that went. But it was one of those things where part of the job was going to include, or the reason that I got filtered in was because I was bilingual, and that it wasn't explained to me that the interview was going to be done in Spanish. Now I can do an interview in Spanish. The whole thing was that I was not expecting to be ambushed in only Spanish language. And it made me uncomfortable because you're already in an uncomfortable situation when you go into a job interview. And I'm talking about a physical interview, not like what I've done lately with the remote. And you're already uncomfortable as it is. You're in a new environment. You don't know this person, so you're already uncomfortable. But then to have it also thrown out of your comfort zone and putting you to make you speak a language that you're not accustomed to speaking on a daily basis, it was just bad. So I got through it, and then once it all got done, and I was really not like, oh, you seem uncomfortable, and I'm like, yeah, I was uncomfortable because I didn't realize that this is all I was going to be doing. Like, am I only going to be speaking to Spanish speaking customers? And they were like, no. Most of the time you probably just be speaking English. Then why the hell did we just do an interview in all Spanish? And like, oh, we just wanted to make sure that you were actually bilingual, this and that. I'm like, It's like, come on, man. We could have just done this. Like, it didn't have to be the whole interview. So yeah,
Just have a conversation, like just a small conversation, and that's it, and then carry on.
Yeah, it was just one of those things where it's like, come on, man. So yeah, it's really, it's on us. If you happen to either be an expert or factually that something's wrong, then sometimes it's unless some people aren't confrontational. But there's been times where I've had to step in, and I've been very, like, I try to be diplomatic about it. Like, if I hear somebody giving bad advice in one of the YouTube rooms, then I'll step in. I'll like raise my hand and step in and be like, hey, what you're saying right there is not entirely accurate. Let me kind of steer this in the correct direction, because I would hate for that to happen when people say stuff that just doesn't make sense, especially for like a brand new creator who's just getting started. They'll give them advice that doesn't apply to them. Like, the same advice that applies to somebody at 1 million subscribers doesn't apply to somebody who's just starting. So you have to like tailor it based on who it is. Not every piece of advice works for everybody across the board. So
right. Yeah. And like I said, and it's just, and here's the way they could handle the interview. It's like they could have said, okay, we're going to ask you a couple of questions. They're going to be totally in Spanish. We expect you to give those responses back in Spanish to test your capability of your they could have, and you could have said, sure. Well, then the next
that's fine.
4 or 5 questions could have happened, and you could have answered it in Spanish, or you could have had a conversation offline. Let's go offline and we'll have a discussion afterward. If you want to conversationally talk in Spanish to see how my conversational, including my, if you want to test that capability, I have no problem with that. But just to sit there and walk in, all of a sudden it's like totally in Spanish, you're like, okay, what? And then on top of that, the fact that we really don't expect you actually really talking to a lot of customers in Spanish.
Yeah, that's what made it worse. That was was more of a slap in the face than anything else. Yeah. So, but it was like with my current job now. My current job was better about it, because it was part of the process. Like when we were talking and negotiating what my skill sets were, and then when we're going to do the actual like interview, they were like, "Oh yeah, so a portion of this interview we're going to do in Spanish. Just make sure that everything is on the up and up." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's totally fine." So we did that. I think we did like 15 minutes just conversational, and after that, everything was all good. Right. Yeah. But the fact that it wasn't an ambush, and because like with the other one, when I walked in, I'm like, oh, hey, how you doing? My name is Jeff Mendez. They started speaking to me in Spanish. And so I responded in English, and they were like, no, we want to do this in Spanish. I'm like, okay. So, but yeah, it's one of those situations where really it was uncomfortable. So, but yeah, it's one of those things where we definitely want to make sure that, at least for that kind of stuff, don't lie on your resumes, man.
Right.
I barely speak English, never mind any other language.
And here's the funny thing. I cannot imagine a scenario where somebody in any kind of forum, whether it be Clubhouse or anything else, would actually advise you to materially misrepresent something you I can't. It's like, on what planet is that even like a good idea, like ever? I don't get it.
How do you think I got my job?
His name's not really Matt.
No, they don't know that I don't know what I'm doing. And I've been doing it for like 8 years.
Faking it to make it for like 25
and I still
months,
don't know what I'm doing.
Oh my God.
Right. It's just hilarious. I wish I would have said, because I would have, if I were, and I have to laugh because I don't know how Jeff would have been like restrained, but I would have been like, listening to this going, is this a situation where somebody's actually telling somebody, just to kind of clear an algorithm or clear a resume filter, just to go ahead and flat out fucking lie? Like just straight lie. That's not even like you can.
We should do that for the YouTube algorithm. We should put that, and that's clickbait. Fucking clickbait the shit out of our titles, Sam.
It was a clickbait resume.
It's like literally like human resume clickbait. It's like, what the hell is that, right? Yeah. But here's the thing, I'm like, and because I've had people ask me, like,
also, hello,
Spanish?
Jermaine.
Like, no, I can't speak Spanish like conversationally. I can listen and pick up words here and there. I can read Spanish easier because then I can kind of see through the words and I can kind of read.
We know
better.
Hello and thank you.
Right. But I also can do that in French. I mean, I took classes in French. I still remember some of those things. But like I said, but if they said to me, would you consider yourself fluent? And the answer would be no, not fluent. Because to me, fluent would be you don't have to actively think about it. It's where that becomes, to me, fluent means you're able to have the information and be able to respond back and forth. And you might be fuzzy on some words.
Is fluent.
Right. You might be fuzzy in some terminology.
Again, but you can now and again, like when you watch interviews with managers of football teams and stuff like that, they speak English, but it's you can see it's not their first language, but they're fluent. It's when you start going, I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. He said something. I got no clue what he just said. He said something. I don't know where to go.
Or if you're only picking out a word or two out of an entire sentence, like two, that's not fluency. Not to me. So especially when you're
I
talking
could
to a
probably
job.
get 1 or 2 words out of Spanish. I could get probably a sentence out of German, and that's probably about it.
I agree. It is George Costanza's fault. That's funny.
Hey, I don't know what's going on with Aditya, but I hope you're doing okay, brother.
Oh yeah, like I said, I know he's well, I know he's his studies. I mean, he seems to go in waves, right? Where he's like exams. Usually, when he's getting stressed out like that, he's got. Last time I think I talked to a DT where he was really under a lot of like anxiety and stress. It was like he had a big exam coming up and he was really struggling with it. So hopefully he's doing okay. Yeah, try to remember, man. Just take a breath. Remember, you know about health, right? You're going to be a physician. You have to talk about that. That means including paying attention to your own health. And if you need to talk or just reach out to any one of us, man. That's what we're here.
We're all here for you, man. If you want to chat. We're all here. You know how to reach out to all of us, man. All of us.
Right. So
every single one of us, except Roger. Roger's just ran away. Hey, I will say, Jermaine's in the chat just as Roger left.
Are they the same person?
Right. It's really. No. So your alter ego is Dutch? Okay.
Cool. I think Jermaine needs to create a concept on how Roger should do his tours of England. Just give him a blueprint of Buckingham Palace and say, this is where your queen lives. Right? You should know what this building looks like. Go.
Yeah. And then Andrew's asking about what do you find more difficult about secondary languages? Conjugation. Well, first of all, I remember sitting in Spanish classes and learning the yo tú, usted, él, ella, nosotros. I used to remember sitting there conjugating ear and just like literally part of my class was literally just half a semester of just literally sheets of conjugating verbs.
Yeah.
And I just remember it being like a Bataan death march. I'm like, this is awful. I love Spanish, but it was like, it made me just want to go, I don't ever want to speak a foreign language again. It was a nightmare. It wasn't hard. Yeah. It just was like, it was so tedious and difficult when it's just like, okay, here's 100 verbs, conjugate them all. And we're having them back. And this was before we had, there was no computers back now. This is when I was 6th grade. So it's like 1986, right?
1986. So like 1886.
So like pieces of paper. And you're like, Jesus, I got to conjugate 100 of these over the weekend. I'm like, and there was no Google, right? You couldn't, and I didn't know anybody who spoke Spanish really well that could actually talk.
Encyclopedia Britannica was the Google, man.
Right.
So
that world book.
Birth certificates on
8 years old.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
No,
so,
for me, it's grammar, man.
Yeah.
For me, it's grammar that's the issue with Spanish, because even though, so technically speaking, going way back, Spanish was my first language. So I learned Spanish. That's what we learned in the house before we spoke English. And, but then, English obviously took over, I think, in English. So my grammar, when I speak Spanish, I use English grammar. So it sounds backwards. And when I speak to people in Spanish, they're like, yeah, like, hey, the way you say words, the accent, everything is Chicano, but your accent or your grammar's wrong. And you put words in the wrong places when you speak because your mind is in English. Right. So you're translating those English words into Spanish, but you're not changing the grammar. So it sounds funny when you conversate. And like somebody, one of them was a Spanish teacher who I had spoken with when I was doing my old job. And, she was like, yeah, she's like, you have what we call an American accent, and I was like, really? And she was like, yeah, because your grammar is wrong. You know the words, you can say them perfectly. I understand you perfectly, but imagine just speaking with bad grammar, and I'm like, yeah, I was like, okay, yeah, that makes perfect sense. So
yeah, stuff like when you say the house red, like when you in English, you'd say the house red, right? I mean, that's how. Yeah. I mean, like in Spanish, you have to transverse those, right? And then so what happens is, I could understand if you said, yeah, that house, that house is red, right? That's how you do it. But if you said that red is house, you would still know what I was talking about, but you'd be like, but why is it transverse, right? You'd have to, in your mind, you'd have to think through that.
Right.
So that's how I have to listen to you all the time.
Right. So it's tough, especially learning, and especially with a language that has a different grammar base, right? So if you're learning German, it's different in English versus learning a Romance language like French or Spanish, where they transverse.
See, German and English is not as different as you might think.
No, it's not.
They're not. No.
And the same thing with Italian and Spanish. If you listen to a lot of Italian, you can pick up on Spanish pretty easily and vice versa because of the same root language.
Portuguese is probably the closest. That's the only language that I've experienced where I can have a conversation using my Spanish knowledge to somebody who doesn't speak English or Spanish, but they speak Brazilian or Portuguese, where we can conversate and understand each other because there's enough similarity.
Right.
Because I've done that multiple times. I used to have a customer who was Brazilian, and he didn't speak a lick of freaking English, and he did not speak Spanish. So, but his his Brazilian, I could pick. We were able to
Right.
communicate enough to where we were able to work together and get stuff done. But
Yeah, well,
it's just weird.
the funny thing is, it takes a bit if you're an English speaker and you know a little bit of Spanish, but you have very limited Portuguese exposure. It takes a few minutes to go, wait a minute, that's Portuguese. That's not Spanish. I mean, it's so similar for a Spanish speaker. It's clearly obvious that, you know what I mean? But if you're listening to somebody who's speaking Portuguese, like Brazilian Portuguese or somebody's from Portugal, it takes a few moments to kind of go, oh, okay, that's Portuguese. That's not Spanish, because it's very similar. I've had friends who speak Portuguese in front of me. I'm like, okay, gotcha. That's Portuguese. That's not Spanish.
Words. Yeah, if you learn some keywords, same thing with German. If you can learn some keywords in German of what they mean and how they work, you can actually decipher quite a bit of it. It helped me out because I took German for 2 years. I don't remember squat of it, but I remember being in it. And when I was in it, I was doing really well in that class because there was so many similarities. So
there's a lot of words that are the same, that mean the same thing and are said very similarly in German and in English.
Yeah,
very similar to what you were saying about Brazilian and Spanish, and that you can have a conversation and you can sort of grasp what each other's on about because there's a lot of similarities.
Yeah,
why is it every time ever talk about German, Rammstein is always going to come up somewhere in that conversation with a group we're in. It's just going to be like, du hast, yeah, you have. Like, the whole time.
I need to get back to Stuttgart. Kraftwerk is performing tonight.
Bye, Simon.
So, but yeah, I just find it fascinating. It's like I've been trying to learn of all things Russian. Because I've always find it fascinating. It's
why?
It's because it's hard.
Do you want to sound angry all the time?
No, and here's the funny thing. It's
Have
like
you
German.
heard a Russian person say something really caring and loving? It sounds really angry.
Right. Well, it's just because you got to understand that's a different culture.
It's the accent and the I love the Russian language. Don't get me wrong. I just like the way everything sounds like they're angry all the time. It's great.
Right. So many Germans. It's like, why does this word have to be like 18 letters? It's like, why is it like
don't 18 letter me unless you live next door to Wales. No. There's a Welsh county, man. It's like, I think it's 113 letters long.
Yeah,
but
crazy.
It's one word.
Right.
Jeez.
And the sign runs the length of the whole. Oh man,
the sign's like three. It's three signs put together. It's like painted across.
It's Welsh, so it's like G J H G H G J G J G. And I'm like, what does that even say?
It looks like you fell asleep on your keyboard, right? That's what it looks like.
Welsh does look like you fell asleep on your keyboard. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you guys are going wild in the chat, man. You got to tell Aditya and Simon are going nuts in there, man. You guys got to call. I'm going to need you guys to calm down, man. I'm going to need you guys to calm down.
Well, here's the problem: is Aditya. There's no calm Aditya. There's either like disconnected Aditya and like amped up, like game, full blown.
It's an on-off switch,
right? This is either on or like
there is no middle ground.
Yeah,
right. So that's cool. So what? Now my question is, what are we? You said you've had some issues with like getting content out there. Is that something that you're looking to try to? Is your bandwidth freeing up? How are your things looking? I mean, because I noticed that there was a little content as far as like the amount of videos. I noticed that they've kind of dropped off a little bit, which is fine because I realized that you don't owe me videos. I love that. It's like, well, how come you aren't putting up my videos? Like, I don't know.
No. That's incorrect. Today's video, he owed us today's video.
No,
I owed it, dude. I definitely did. I'll tell you that much. No, that was something where I'm doing it, and like even when when we get done here, in the gap between this podcast and my own live stream, I'm gonna start the edit on the next video because I have a video due on Tuesday. So once I'm done with my own live stream, eat dinner, and then back to editing that video. Try to shoot as much of the footage I need for that tomorrow to get that finished up by tomorrow night.
I was going to say, remember to sleep tonight.
No, I know. It's going to be tough, man. But that one is, I did that to myself. I agreed to it for business reasons, but normally I try not to operate on other people's schedules anymore. But it's a product launch.
I mean, like we're happy to move around for you, like for your live stream and to give you a break in between, because it wouldn't have been feasible to do hours and then literally not move and jump straight onto yours.
Yeah. Right. And here's the thing, like I said, I mean, we realize that we're who we are, and we realize that we have to be flexible, and that's fine. And just the fact to have you come on is fantastic. The fact, so if we have to move around a couple hours, that's totally okay. We're fine with that because it's the option of not having Jeff on, which is not optional for us. We love having you on, and having you on the show.
As long as it's not before 4 p.m. my time, because I finish work at 3 and then I'm not home till 3:30. Yeah. So if it's before 4, then I won't. I'll stream on my way home. I'll just
So
get it
good.
off and walk
We got
home.
a product launch. So I know we can't talk about what that product launch is, but I'm looking forward to what it is. So is it going to be? Is it just audio
I'm
related?
always enjoying.
Yeah,
I guess
it's
it's just
audio
product
related.
launches.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
not on the hype train with all the cell phone launches this week, unfortunately. But which I'm okay with. I know there's
Nudge,
some guys who
nudge.
have. There's some dudes who have like five launches this week or something. I'm like, bro,
Yeah, that's a
nah,
lot.
I can't do that. So,
Chris.
but yeah, no, we do have
Chris
one
is-
coming up. And,
Yeah.
yeah. I'll say I'm kind of surprised. I figured that's probably why Uncle Spurt isn't here. He's probably busy trying not to go insane with all these product
Probably
launches.
taking a budget phone. He's trying to cut his wrist with it. He's like, "Fuck it, I'm done. That's
Yeah,
it.
that's right.
This fourth one, I'm
I
done."
can
That's all."
guarantee you it's a moto as well.
Oh,
Yeah, dude.
probably.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
so that's
yeah,
good.
no,
So
but we have something good coming. I'm actually, I agreed to it, and for business reasons, so I was like, all right, I'll do it. I don't like operating under people's schedules, but I'll do it for you guys. And then I was like, all right, so we'll see what it is. And then they send it to me, and the only thing I can say is that I am genuinely impressed, which
Okay.
is nice. So because if it had sucked, I would have been like, this is really gonna suck. The fact that it's as good as it is what's motivating me and like keeping me like, all right, cool, I want to get this done, I want to do this because I want to share it with everybody.
Yeah.
So that's the good thing. It exceeded my expectations.
Good.
So yeah, it's starting to happen more often than not because we're not in 2016 no more. And 2 years ago this technology was really crappy, and now it's gotten so
Right.
much better that it's you really have to screw up to create a bad set of headphones in 2021. People still do it.
Right.
I bet we could.
So, but it's
Oh,
like
bad headphones? Here, hold my beer. We can make some. Don't worry
You gotta
about
I
it.
would say
Try.
everything me and Sam know. I reckon we could make the worst headphones of 2021.
We probably could, since we don't know what the hell we're looking for or talking about or anything about the
Hey,
metrics or
A
the science
record is a
behind it. Yeah.
record, Sam. We'll have our name in the book.
Right. So actually, and that's funny thing is, there's not many content creators that do this. Where I actually, when you say that now, it's content that it looks pretty good, but that you're actually excited on how well it performed. I'm like anxiously awaiting like what that's going to be, because I mean I'm not kidding. This is not just saying this just because we're on the stream. I literally, if I was going to look at some audio equipment, I would look at Jeff's content, and if he has something about said content, I would watch that and really take that into advice, because he breaks it all down. So I use your content to actually make purchasing decisions. And so that, and also the fact that I can do that for free, and the fact that we have a relationship, we can have you on the show, is fantastic. So I love the fact that I can watch your content and actually get informed and make an informed purchase decision. That means a lot to me, especially.
That's what it's about, man. And there's no reason that can't be a win-win. And that's what I try to explain to people a lot, is that because there's a lot of people who believe like, oh, well, if you have an affiliation with the brand, or if you're using affiliate links, that you're automatically untrustworthy. And I'm like, if you have that filter, you're missing out on so much amazing content, just because you have this bias that if somebody
Right.
creates content that they shouldn't, that they can't have a win-win situation where I can give you guys value, which has been proven over and over and over. I've proven that I'm here for the audience, but at the same time, why is it that I can't use those links to help support what I'm doing here? Right. So that's the thing where I found that balance, and I see the struggle with it. And, people come in and say that stuff, and it's a win-win, man. I mean, there's no reason why it can't be. The only thing you have to be careful with is making sure that you keep it on the up and up, because I know there's creators out there who will do anything for $1. And I absolutely will not. So
We were not doing. But
I'm only kidding, man.
I'll tell you one thing: we
would
may
do
not
that.
have any views, and we may not be the most well listened to podcast, but we have some standards, and that's as we would try to keep
no.
keep it real.
We have standards. We have loyalty
Right.
to family,
don't
friends,
don't forget
and
about
the
your sponsor
community.
for this stream, man.
And
Right. And somebody did ask, Jeff, do you actually
Those guys,
scan phones?
Sam,
What?
they're gonna do the duo.
I know, you told me. I just got to wait for them to do that. And did you see they put out what
They won't do the fucking ROG 5 for me though.
They already done a
be a
bunch of people
complex-
anyway. Let a
That'd be
brother
a
get
complex skin.
Yeah, that's
No,
not
it's not
exactly-
that. It's because gaming phones, like profitability. It's a company. They have to, if they're going to put money
niche.
into making skins for devices, that device has got to be popular,
Yeah.
because otherwise no one's going to buy that particular skin. So things like the gaming phones and Sony phones, because as much as we all love Sony phones, they don't sell well. So
if
Extreme
you do
Skins
skin
don't
phones-
skin them.
So So
But
if
they
you're looking
skin
to
so
skin
much.
a phone,
Jeff
If you're not skinning a
will
phone-
love the audio skins they do for the headphones. Oh my god, they're so good.
Stream
Yeah,
skins. Because
I've
I
seen
don't
a
have any
few.
idea what I'm doing here. So that's what it is. I'm just going to cover the whole screen for a second. Stream skins, get you something. I don't know nothing else.
Yeah,
I
they
don't know what the
do.
screen
They do headphones, headsets.
To be really
And-
popular models, usually Sony, Apple, Samsung.
Yeah.
That's all I've ever seen.
Yeah,
I think
and
D-Brand does,
same with
they
laptops
do
as well. They
1040s.
do the
Right.
big
Oh,
ones.
And here's and Dan Tana's in the chat.
Oh, try their new
Appreciate it.
try their new cases as well. By the way, the
But
X30
also, yeah,
cases are out
there's
now.
cases, there's skins. Check them out. Extremeskins.co.uk. Check them out. They're awesome. They'll ship internationally, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
And I got 3 words for Dan Tana. Andy fucking Dalton. Really? We're doing that shit now?
What the fuck are you
Let's-
talking about?
Oh my God.
He's
It's
talking
like,
about your neighbor, Matt. Your neighbor Andy.
yeah.
He burnt the barn down.
Fuck me. I saw that. And I was like, and then on top of it, 1 year for $10 million fucking dollars. Oh my God. Well, Dan, here we go, man. We thought the Bears were actually going to this was maybe we might get over that big fucking Achilles heel of quarterbacks and Bears franchise history sucking. We got Nick Foles and Andy fucking Dalton. Okay.
Yeah.
He knows what I'm talking about. God love him. I mean, yeah, we're both Bears
I have
fans.
no idea.
Yeah, the Bears made this quarterbacking decision that I think every Bears
Oh,
fan.
we're talking
and
about
they-
hand egg.
Yeah, we're talking about headache. And here's the thing: the Bears put up welcome Andy Dalton, and did you see the comments on Twitter? They roasted the fuck out of that. Oh, it was
So
bad.
is this guy not very good?
No, Andy Dalton is not good.
Is
He
your
wasn't good-
team
he
very
wasn't
good?
in Cincinnati. No, the Bears are really no. They're
Well, that's why
offensive
you
line's
got
terrible.
him. A not
No,
good team gets not good players.
Yeah, no, he's red shirt and fuck yeah, dude. It's over. Okay. But yeah, it's funny. There was on Instagram, they put up a comment about welcome Andy Dalton, and every comment was like, oh my God, fuck me. It's like, oh, here we go. Bears. Okay. And then on top
I'm
of
going to
it, $10
comment.
million
I'm going to comment. I'll be the only one going, yay, woo.
Yeah, it's bad. So God love it. I think the Bears were going to go 8-8. If they win 5 games on Andy Dalton, I'll be amazed. It's bad.
If it makes you feel any better, Derby are not doing any better with Wayne Rooney in charge.
Yeah, affiliate links are great. And just because, again, folks, don't have bias. Open up now. If you get to a video and it's garbage and you can tell the person's shilling out and it's bad, then give it its chance. But not everybody who uses an affiliate link or who is sponsored by is automatically going to shill for it. So you need to kind of do your due diligence, listen to the content, and give people an open mind. Just walk into it with an open mind. And I'm telling you, there's no way Jeff is going to do that, because if you've watched his history and you've watched his videos, if it's not good, even if it's sponsored, he's going to tell you, this is not a product I can recommend. And I would 100% guarantee that if that came up, that Jeff would be 100% straight about it. So, folks,
Let's be honest, but Jeff's not got a money tree in the garden. None of these creators have a money tree in the garden. You have to have affiliates and sponsors to help you out, but you keep that real. You say to the sponsors, if I can't do this my way, I'm not doing it.
Basically.
It's that simple.
So just because affiliate links are not necessarily bad, folks, just like anything else, you have to take it on its face and listen to the content and see what's going on. And then if that person's got a shady history. But I guarantee if you're listening to Jeff's content, and I know we had I think it was Jim up there had already used one of his link and got a great deal. So check it out. Give it some time. And I'm looking forward to the next video. I'm kind of waiting to see what you're going to do, because I'm actually done with this. I'm going to get to watching the Soundcore one, even though I have headphones.
It's a good video.
You can never have another one. And and just to
Obviously.
support the content, even if I'm not buying it, just to support your channel, Jeff, and get some links. And if anybody's not watching it in the stream, please check out his channel, sub it, watch it, get it in your ear holes, and enjoy it, because Jeff is good people, great content. It's good
Definitely.
stuff.
I appreciate it.
And go catch up on some of the older videos. If you're looking for some older high-end audio gear, I just probably covered all of it. And if
There you
it's
go.
2 years old, that's what I mean. Go back, have a look. If you're looking at it now, it might be like me. If I'm going for audio gear, I might look at something older over something budget, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it's the same way phones used to work. Not anymore, because the budget phone's just way better.
Yeah.
You'd usually go the other way, but
And Simon liked your top 10 list. It was, I agree. That was good. So, like I said, if you aren't listening to Jeff, you should, because especially if you're going to be making a purchasing decision, or if you're just listening to it just because you're interested in audio stuff, you just want to see what's out there. If you're not purchasing, you just want to get some good content and just some getting that Jeff said, watching content that's entertaining, because it just is. Even if you're not purchasing, even
and
if
it's
you're in
a
a good
hell
place,
of a conversation in the chat as well. It's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Always.
So, we'll get those links in there. We'll also get the links to DJ Audio shirts. If you have a chance to pick those up, please do.
Definitely.
Support him and everything else. And is there anything we're missing? We want to make sure we get all that content. We don't want to leave anything on the table, sir. We appreciate your time as always. And thanks a lot for coming on.
I appreciate it, man. I know Aditya is asking about the affiliate links in Germany, and I don't have enough viewership over there to where Amazon in Germany would accept me into their program. So there's because I was in the UK one and I got kicked out. Just not enough people were, because people, I know, right? You have to make a certain amount of sales to stay in per month.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they give you a grace period, but I just when I was in, now I'm pretty sure I can get back in. But when I was in, it wasn't moving that much. So just now I was able to get into the Canadian one. So now I'm back on Canada. I'm going to apply for UK and Mexico next. I'm basically just going to start applying for the markets that I have the biggest viewerships in. Because lately it's just been US.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's good.
So,
any of your Amazon UK, hey, all the guys, you, Simon, Joe, we'll get Chris on board. We'll just buy all of it.
That's it.
So Jeff can stay in. We want him in.
That's what we did to get it going was making sure that people were buying stuff and friends were helping out with that to get it off the ground. Now I told my friends hey, you guys don't got to buy anything anymore. My audience has it covered. Don't sweat it.
But now they're like, well, no, now we're buying it because it's good.
50. We got to buy 50 pair. Okay, fuck it. We're in.
You look at it now, like right now, it's like, no, I'm not buying it just for that reason. I'm buying it because it's a good recommendation.
Right.
I actually didn't realize I need it, but I do.
Just like, okay, folks, you're in my family. Here we go. It's 20 a piece, man. Get in there. So find some shit. Hey, if you love me, get in there and get stupid. It's like, okay, Jeff, man, it's cool. All right, man, let's do it. If we got to buy 10 or so, but no, I think now you'd be okay. Hopefully you can get it on that link and we'll see how it goes. And if there's anything we can do to further that and help your channel and do anything we can to drive traffic and just support a fantastic creator, please. We don't have exactly a lot of reach, but we always do our best. We try and we just appreciate your time as always.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I'm glad to be here. Glad to hang out with everybody in the chat, and it's a good time, man. So I'm always open for it, man. It's just timing is always of the essence, and that's usually what it comes down to. So
absolutely. So we can move.
Yeah, we'll adjust for you. We'll deliver. We're like the grub of a podcast. You call us.
We'll try and do one of those tech guest extravaganzas again at some point.
Absolutely.
This year. Yeah, that was crazy good.
So we're at that 1 hour 20 minute mark. So all the people, Joe and Simon and even Roger, who showed up and then
no. Forget Roger. Jermaine, good to see you.
Jermaine's and everybody there, Simon and Aditya and Joe Hickey and everybody. We appreciate you taking your time and listening to us on Sunday.
Sorry, I'm just going to take that back. I take that back. Jermaine, screw you, man.
No.
He keeps winding me up because he might be getting an ROG 5, and he said he'll send me a picture of it. I was like, you're a fucking bastard. Why would you do that to me for?
But you're going to be buying it anyway, so why are you going to be so, you're going to be hateful? Don't be hateful, man. That's not how we get there. So for myself, for Matt,
he knows
Tyler,
I love him, really, man.
For Jeff from I Happy Reviews, thank you for coming on the podcast. We'll be back next week. We have is next week the Twitch thing? Is that
28th? It's Val.
Streamer?
Yeah.
Val.
Yeah,
okay,
Val.
We got a streamer coming
It's later than normal because she streams on a Sunday on Twitch, Warzone, for about 4 hours.
And we all know how my Warzone game is, which it doesn't exist. So that's going to be an interesting. That might be a show where I don't talk, which is going to be awesome for anybody watching because I want to say
I'm all in Warzone, man. She's such a good streamer as well. So it's going to be fun. Well,
good thing. So tune into that. Download this on your favorite podcast streams. And Jeff, thank you for coming on the show.
Don't waste space on your device for us.
Just stream it. Don't download it. Just stream it. It's fine.
That's it. Just stream it.
So for myself, for Matt Tyler, that's the Across the Podcast. We'll be back next Sunday, a little bit different time, but we'll post all that. And we love you. Thank you for being a part of the show and part of those live streams, and your comments and questions are always appreciated. We'll be back next week. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy your tech. Bye, everybody.